Okay, this is part 4 in my search for the Mojave Poppy Bee. If you haven't watched part 1 through 3, you should probably stop here and go back and watch those ones. This is the last one of these I'm going to do for the year until the poppies start blooming again next spring. So it's the end of May, it's the 29th. I decided to come back down here to Beehive Dome area to check on the poppies one last time. It looks like they are pretty well finished blooming. So we'll see what we find, but probably not going to be any bees out here since there's not really any poppy blooms for them. But I'll spend some time and walk around and see what we can find. So a lot of the flowers look like this. So they look all right at first, but if you open up that petal right there, you can see there's not really any anthers left. This one right here, you can see the anthers have kind of all fallen off. I think after they're visited, after they're pollinated, it seems like the flower kind of sheds those reproductive parts and focuses on seed production. So I'm seeing some like that. Most of the flowers are just completely dried up like this. But there are a few that are actually still in full bloom. Still no poppy bees on them though. So unless the phenology shifted the other way, maybe the poppy bees came out before the flowers, maybe it's not a phenology problem that we're dealing with. Maybe they're gone from here for another reason. There's some more over on that hill. I came out with my father-in-law today. He actually came out last week and the week before to check things out and didn't find any poppy bees. So we've kind of been monitoring this for about a month now and haven't had a lot of success. Well, success as far as the poppy bee goes. So most of the flowers are pretty dried up, but there's a few that still have pollen in them. So I've seen a couple sweat bees. I'm gonna keep looking around and see what else I can find. So most of these flowers right here are done blooming, but we found one up here on the hillside. It is blooming. There's actually a honeybee on it right now. This is the one that I saw the sweat bee on. There's the little sweat bee right there. See it crawling around? That was on the flower a little bit earlier. Back legs full of poppy pollen. It's kind of funny, from even far away you can spot the poppies that are still blooming. So we have all these dry ones, and then right there in the middle we have one that for some reason bloomed later than the other ones. So this should be a magnet for any poppy bees that were out. But as you can see, there's nothing on it. Oop. But there's still some buds, so this still has several more days before it's done. So something kind of cool to think about is a lot of the plants that were here when we were here a couple weeks ago, most of those flowers, the non-poppy flowers, most of them are done blooming. So out in the desert, the plants are they're kind of ephemeral. They only bloom for a little while. And the bees that are associated with those plants have similar short flying periods. So if you're a generalist bee, you can switch from plant to plant when the new crop of plants comes out. But if you're a specialist, you have to time your emergence with your host plant. And so sometimes you only have a couple weeks to make that connection. Well, I guess that's it for this year. No poppy bees in Utah, but I think the plan is to come out next year and spend more time. So hopefully from the middle or end of April through May, and if we come out regularly, if there are any poppy bees left in these populations, we should be able to find them. So the saga continues, I guess.